In this video, we're taking a look at 3 simple DIY projects that were recently featured in the Osborne Builder Studio. If you're interested in a more in-depth tutorial on each of these projects, be sure to check out the links below. For this table, we chose to use the Old World Dining Table Legs Part 1122 from Osborne. These legs are 3.5 inches wide and available in multiple wood species, and they can be added to a table base kit just like our other legs. You'll notice as we assemble the table base kit, this is a square breakfast sized table, but this can be adjusted in our table base builder depending on your project preferences. If you're interested in a full tutorial on how to assemble a table base kit, you can reference the video above. Moving on to the tabletop, we chose to go with hickory for the wood species just to contrast nicely with the pine table base kit. We are using the 5/4 project lumber from Osborne for this tabletop, so I will need to mill it down to its final thickness since it is slightly oversized. This will be a 30 inch by 30 inch tabletop, so I'll start by cutting 5 boards to length at 30 inches using a miter saw. Once the lumber is cut to length, I'll run it through my benchtop planer to bring it down to a 1 inch thick board. Now that the lumber is milled to the correct size, I need to get an idea of the orientation of the boards. I'll start by looking at each face and figuring out which look I like the best. I like to mark each board with a pencil just to make sure I have them in the correct orientation during the glue up. Before I assemble the tabletop, I wanted to add a round over between each seam to give it that traditional plank table look. This will add a noticeable seam in between each board instead of having a solid tabletop look. If you wish to add this to your tabletop, you can use a hand router or a table router depending on what you have available. I decided to use wood dowels to help with alignment during the glue up process, so I'll start by laying out the marks using a straight edge on the back side of the tabletop. A doweling jig is a great tool for drilling a precise hole for wooden dowels. Most tools have a center mark that allow you to line them up on your created mark, making it easy to drill perfect holes. I chose to add 4 dowels based on the size of my tabletop, but this may need to be adjusted depending on yours. To assemble the tabletop, add some wood glue to the pre-drilled dowel holes and add a wooden dowel in between each board. Once the dowels are inserted, we can add some wood glue in between each seam, making sure to avoid excessive glue squeeze out. Since these will have a large ridge in the middle of each plank, you'll want to remove as much glue squeeze out as possible before it dries, as it will be difficult to sand. To make this table look a little bit more rustic, we're going to add a decorative wood glaze to the table base. To apply the glaze, I can brush it on using a regular brush, making sure to apply it to all of the areas evenly. The idea is to apply a thick coat of glaze, then buff it off using a clean rag, exposing the white paint underneath. The longer this glaze sits on the surface, the harder it is to buff off, so you may need to work in sections depending on how big your table is. To finish the tabletop, we're just going to apply a very simple wood stain to contrast nicely with the table base. I'll start by sanding the top side to 150 grit to give it a nice smooth finish. If there are any imperfections in the wood, now is the time to fill those before adding a coat of finish. I'll apply this gel stain to the top and bottom of the tabletop, making sure that each seam has proper coverage. Once the wood stain is fully cured, I will make sure to add a polyurethane finish over the top since this will be a heavy use table. To finish up this project, I can place the table base on the bottom side of the tabletop, making sure that it's centered with the proper overhang. Then we can attach the table base to the tabletop using the pre-drilled pocket holes and a wood screw. To get started with this build, we need to first mill the 5/4 walnut lumber that'll be used as the main panels for our table. The overall dimensions for this table will be 18 by 15 by 26 inches, so I'll cut all of the boards slightly oversized about 1/8 of an inch to make the glue up easier. Once the boards are cut to a rough length, I'll rip them down on the table saw to their final width. The 5/4 lumber is 6 inches wide, so I'll rip them down to 5 inches and use 3 boards for each panel. The final step for milling is to bring them down to the final thickness of 1 inch for each board. For this process, you'll need to use a thickness planer as the 5/4 boards from Osborne are unsurfaced on the face side. Once your lumber is milled to size, determine the orientation of all of your boards and glue up all 3 panels using wood glue. Remove any excess glue squeeze out with a damp rag and let the panels dry in clamps. Once the panels are dry, you can sand any remaining glue spots before moving on to the next step. Before assembling the table, I want to add a few details to enhance the look of the build. First, I'm going to add a large roundover on 2 corners of the panels to match the leg that we're going to be adding in the center later. To do this, I made a very simple router template to use as a guide and then cut the rough shape out on a bandsaw. Once the corners are roughly cut, we can clamp the template to the workpiece and use a flush trim router bit to trace the profile. This will ensure each corner has the same radius when complete. The last detail I'm adding is a 1/4 inch roundover on the outside edges to soften the look of the table. These details aren't necessary for your build but can enhance the look of the final product. To assemble this table, I'm going to be using wood dowels so that no fasteners will be seen in the end. I'll mark out 3 dowel locations on each panel, making sure that they line up flush when complete. Next, I'll adjust the depth of my drill bit depending on the thickness of my material and use a centering jig for the center panel. For the top and bottom panels, I'll use a drill press, making sure to adjust my drill bit depth accordingly. This can be done with a hand drill, but make sure to keep the dowel holes as straight as possible when drilling. Next, I'll dry fit the pieces together so that I can measure for the center support leg. Since the top and bottom panels are 1 inch thick, the interior height of this build is 24 inches long. For the leg, we chose part 194066 on our website. This is a 24 1/4 inch round end table leg, so we'll cut a 1/4 inch off using a miter saw, and that will give us a perfect fit for the interior of our table. Next, I'll mark the location for the leg and install 2 more dowels for attachment. We can now assemble the table using the wood dowels and wood glue in each of the connecting locations. Once dry, the table should have good strength while still allowing for proper wood movement. The last detail I want to add to this build is to route some cup holders in the top of the table. I created another simple router template that will allow me to repeat the cut on each side of the tabletop. Using a templating bit and a small handheld trim router is a great way to accomplish this. Just make sure to adjust your template depending on the size of your machine. Now that the build is complete, we can sand the table to 150 grit and apply a wood finish. For this build, we're repurposing a cherry tabletop that we had in the shop and cutting it into 3 different sizes for our nesting tables. I'll start by using a compass to mark out 3 circles on the tabletop at 21 inches, 17 inches, and 13 inches. Each tabletop will be 4 inches smaller than the previous, allowing them to nest together. Next, I'll mark out one edge of each circle to give the tabletops a more unique look. I can anchor one end of the compass to the edge of the circle and create a line that intersects on the other end. To match this detail for the remaining 2 tops, simply decrease the size between your compass by 4 inches for each top. Once your marks are made, you can cut out the tabletops using a jigsaw, making sure to stay as close to the lines as possible. Depending on the lumber that you're using, you can also use a router with a template for this process. Just make sure to adjust your dimensions accordingly. Once our tabletops are cut out, we can now mark out the locations for our leg mounting plates. I chose to recess the mounting plates for this build, so I need to first create some reference marks to ensure that each tabletop has matching placement for the legs. The bottom line will serve as the reference point for the front legs, while the middle line will serve as the reference point for the back leg. I can find the location for the legs that I'm happy with on the first tabletop and copy that on the other 2. We chose to mount our table legs using the straight leg mounting plates part 928 from Osborne. These mounting plates are easy to install and are a great option when needing to mount round table legs. Once the locations are marked, I'll route out a recess about 1/4 inch deep using a handheld router. Since this is on the bottom of the tabletop, I'll do this by hand, making sure to stay as close to the line as possible. However, you can use a template if needed. The next step is to install the mounting plates using the supplied wood screws, making sure to pre-drill if needed. It's important to note that depending on the thickness of your tabletop, you may need to adjust the size of your wood screws for this installation. For this project, we're using the tapered wheeler legs from Osborne, so I need to create a simple jig that will hold the legs while we install the threaded inserts. For this, I cut an 1.5 inch hole in a scrap piece of plywood and clamped it into the vise on my workbench. This will hold the leg in place safely while I drill the hole needed for the threaded insert and threaded dowel. To install the threaded inserts, I first need to drill a 3/8 inch hole that will make room for the threaded dowel. Next, I can make a slightly larger hole at the top that is large enough to screw in the threaded insert. This two-step hole will ensure the threaded insert can be installed tight while still allowing for plenty of room with the threaded dowel. To install the insert, tighten it using an Allen key into the pre-drilled hole, making sure not to over-tighten it. Next, we can screw in the threaded dowel until it bottoms out, allowing for a tight fit on our tabletop. Before installing the table legs, you can sand all of the tabletops to 150 grit and apply the finish of your choice. When finishing your project, make sure to avoid getting finish in the threads of the mounting hardware, as this can cause issues during assembly. To install the table legs, simply screw in the threaded dowels to the mounting plates and tighten until flush with the tabletop. If your threaded inserts were installed slightly uneven, you can continue tightening the leg until it straightens up to match the rest.